Hello Wild Rifters, in this video I'll be going over all the new champion changes in League of Legends Wild Rift. But before we get started, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you follow me on Facebook Gaming and Twitch if you want to catch my live streaming. First up, we have Alistar. Alistar has always been a great pick for anyone looking to tank in the support role, but Riot Games wants to take it up a notch and improve the discoverability of his headbutt pulverize combo. For those who don't know, the headbutt pulverize combo is a devastating move that can knock up and stun multiple enemies at once, but it requires precise timing and execution, making it difficult for some players to pull off. That's where Riot Games comes in. They're introducing a new feature that will make it easier for players to execute the headbutt pulverize combo. Now while pulverize is off cooldown, double tapping headbutt will cause Alistar to cast pulverize, slamming the ground as he reaches his target. This change will not only make Alistar's gameplay more accessible, but also add some much needed depth to his kit. So get ready to show your opponents what happens when you mess with the horns. Up next, we have Garen. Since the recent adjustments and additions to the Baron lane, Garen has been struggling to keep up, but Riot Games wants to lend this noble soldier a hand. They're buffing some of his mobility and damage mitigation, which will give Garen players some more room for skill expression and help him compete with his foes in lane. First up, Decisive Strike's movement speed is getting a boost from 30% to 35%. This will allow Garen to chase down his enemies or escape from danger more easily. Next, Courage's first second damage reduction is getting a significant increase from 60% to 70%. This will make Garen even more durable in team fights and skirmishes. These changes will not only help Garen keep up with the competition, but also add some much needed depth to his kit. So get ready to spin to win with the might of Demacia! Up next, we have Jace. The golden boy of Piltover has always had a lot of tools at his disposal, but his heavy hammer was sometimes holding him back. But Riot Games wants to reduce its cooldown to make Jace even more versatile. Riot is also making some adjustments to Jace's controls for this patch. The timing on Jace's Shock Blast and Acceleration Gate combo can be a bit too strict for both new and experienced players. So Riot is improving its usability for players looking to become the defender of tomorrow. While Acceleration Gate is off cooldown, double tapping Shock Blast will cause Jace to cast Acceleration Gate in front of himself, empowering the shot. This will make it easier for players to land the combo and deal massive damage to their enemies. Lastly, Jace's Mercury Cannon and Mercury Hammer cooldown is getting a reduction from 6 seconds to 5 seconds. This will allow Jace to switch between his ranged and melee forms more frequently, giving him more opportunities to outplay his opponents. These changes will not only make Jace more versatile, but also improve his usability for both new and experienced players, so get ready. Up next, we have Jinx. Compared to other marksmen in the Dragon lane, Jinx is struggling to keep up and stand out, but Riot Games wants to give her some updates to bring her more in line with her peers. Firstly, Riot is making some changes to Jinx's Zap ability. The windup before casting will now decrease with attack speed instead of ability levels. This means that Jinx will be able to fire her Zap faster when her attack speed bonus reaches 140%. This will give her more opportunities to poke her enemies and deal damage. Secondly, Riot is reducing the cooldown of Jinx's Flame Chomper's ability from 19, 16, 13, 10s to 16, 14, 12, 10s. Riot is also increasing the root duration from 1.3, 1.45, 1.6, 1.75s to 1.45, 1.55, 1.65, 1.75s. This will make it easier for Jinx to trap her enemies and secure kills. These changes will not only help Jinx keep up with her peers, but also improve her overall gameplay experience. So get ready to wreak havoc on the Rift with these new changes. Up next, we have Kayn. Players have chosen to take the red pill, and recently Rast has been terrorizing the Rift. While his Shadow Assassin form is nowhere to be seen, Riot Games wants to rebalance both these forms and make the Shadow Assassin a little more scary to face. Firstly, Riot is making some changes to Kayn's The Darkened Sight ability. The Darkened Healing ratio will now be reduced from 21-35% to 18-32%. This will make it harder for Rast to sustain himself in fights. On the other hand, Riot is increasing the extra magic damage ratio from Shadow Assassin from 32-46% to 38-52%. This will make Shadow Assassin's burst more potent in fights. Secondly, Riot is making some adjustments to Shadow Assassin's passive. The reset cooldown will now be upon taking damage from champions instead of entering fights. This will make it easier for Shadow Assassin to engage in fights and deal damage. Lastly, Riot is increasing the base damage of Kayn's Umbral Trespass ability from 150, 250, 350 to 200, 300, 400. This will make it easier for Kayn to eliminate his targets and secure kills. These changes will not only rebalance Kayn's forms, but also improve his overall gameplay experience. So get ready to dominate the Rift with these new changes. Up next, we have Lucian. Riot Games has recently added attack speed scaling to some of the other marksmen, and now they're bringing the same to Lucian's first ability. Riot is making some changes to Lucian's Piercing Light ability. The wind-up time before casting will now decrease as attack speed increases instead of decreasing as champions level up. This means that the bonus attack speed reaches 140%, the wind-up time will be at its fastest. This change will not only improve Lucian's overall gameplay experience, but also make him a more viable pick in the current meta. With faster wind-up time, Lucian will be able to deal more damage in a shorter amount of time. So get ready to dominate the Rift with these new changes. Next, we have Pyke. Riot Games is giving this bounty hunter a bit of a mini rework this patch, allowing him the flexibility to be played in the mid lane and the jungle lane. Firstly, Riot is increasing the damage he does to monsters, making it easier for him to clear jungle camps. Secondly, Riot is suggesting how his ultimate works. Pyke will now earn 110% additional gold every time he executes an enemy. If there is an assist from a teammate, the last assisting teammate will get 100% of the additional gold, and Pyke will get 110% of the additional gold, with a maximum of 550 gold. These changes will not only improve Pyke's overall gameplay experience, but also make him a more versatile pick in the current meta. With increased damage to monsters, Pyke will be able to clear jungle camps faster and more effectively. And with the new ultimate changes, Pyke will be able to earn more gold and help his teammates get more gold as well. So get ready to dominate the Rift with this bounty hunter, Pyke. Up next, we have Renekton. Riot Games is making some changes to Renekton's abilities, improving his mobility so he can keep up with his foes. Renekton is a powerful champion, but he struggles when he is up against opponents with extra speed or movement abilities. To address this issue, Riot is making some changes to his Slice and Dice ability. The cooldown of this ability will be reduced from 17, 16, 15, 14 seconds to 15, 14, 13, 12 seconds. This change will not only improve Renekton's overall mobility, but also make him a more formidable opponent in the current meta. With the reduced cooldown, Renekton will be able to use his Slice and Dice ability more often, allowing him to keep up with his opponents and close the gap between them. So get ready to slice and dice on the Rift. Up next, we have Britney Seraphine. Riot Games is making some changes to Seraphine's abilities, specifically her surround sound ability. Seraphine is a powerful champion, but her surround sound ability hasn't been as effective as people would like. To address this issue, Riot is making some changes to how it works. The value of the second shield for this ability enhancement will now stack instead of refreshing. This change will not only improve Seraphine's overall effectiveness, but also make her a more formidable opponent in the current meta. With this new stacking ability, Seraphine will be able to reach an octave higher, providing her with more power and protection. So get ready to dominate the Rift with this diva champion, Seraphine. Up next, we have Sion. Riot Games is making some changes to Sion's abilities, specifically his Decimating Smash, Soul Furnace, and Unstoppable Onslaught abilities. Sion is a powerful champion, but he struggles to lane against some of his peers in the Baron lane. To address this issue, Riot is shifting some of the power away from his crowd control and into some of his damage in the earlier stages of the game, so he can take on more duels against his foes in lane. To achieve this, Riot is making some changes to his Decimating Smash ability. The maximum charge base damage is now increased from 65, 155, 245, 335 to 80, 165, 250, 335, and the stun duration is now reduced from 1.25, 2.25s to 1.2s. Riot is also making some changes to his Soul Furnace ability. The base shield is now increased from 60, 90, 120, 150 to 75, 100, 125, 150, providing Sion with more protection in the early stages of the game. Lastly, Riot is making some changes to his Unstoppable Onslaught ability. The stun duration is now reduced from 0.75, 1.75s to 0.5, 1.5s, allowing Sion to deal more damage to his enemies. So get ready to dominate the Baron lane with these new changes. Up next, we have Soraka. Riot Games is making some changes to Soraka's abilities, specifically her Star Call and Astral Infusion abilities. Soraka is the queen of bananas, and while she's been performing well in some ranks, she's still struggling in higher levels of play. To help Soraka players go toe-to-toe with some of the other supports, we're giving her heals a little extra oomph. To achieve this, we're making some changes to her Star Call ability. The total healing from Rejuvenation is now increased from 60, 80, 100, 120 plus 35% ability power to 60, 90, 120, 150 plus 45% ability power, providing Soraka with more healing power in the early stages of the game. Secondly, Riot is also making some changes to her Astral Infusion ability. The healing amount is now reduced from 90, 130, 170, 210 plus 70% ability power to 70, 110, 150, 190 plus 70% ability power, allowing Soraka to heal herself more effectively. It's time to have some fun now with this ultimate heal bot in the Wild Rift. Up next, we have Tryndamere. Riot Games is making some changes to Tryndamere's abilities, specifically his Battle Fury and Mocking Shout abilities. The Barbarian King hasn't made an appearance in the Baron lane for a while now, So Riot is giving him a few buffs to keep him from being strong-armed by his opponents and falling behind in the early and later stages of the game. To achieve this, Riot is making some changes to his base stats. The attack speed growth is now reduced from 2.2% to 1.2%, making him less vulnerable to early game harass. Riot is also making some changes to his Battle Fury ability. The attack speed is now increased from 45, 50, 55, 60% to 55, 60, 65, 70%, providing Tryndamere with more damage output in the later stages of the game. Riot is also making some changes to his Mocking Shout ability. The duration is now increased from 2.5s to 3s, and the attack speed is now increased from 25, 30, 35, 40% to 35%. However, the movement speed is now reduced from 20, 30, 40, 50% to 15, 20, 25, 30%, making it more easier for Tryndamere's opponents to escape. So get ready to dominate the Rift with this Barbarian King. Up next we have Varus. Riot Games is making some changes to Varus' abilities, specifically his Blighted Quiver and Chain of Corruption abilities. Despite Riot's recent adjustments, Varus is still struggling compared to his peers. Riot is giving him another set of buffs that will hopefully show off some of his explosive power. To achieve this, Riot is making some changes to his Blighted Quiver ability. The maximum health damage per stack of Blight is now increased from 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5% to 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6%. Making Varus more effective at shredding tanks. Riot is also making some changes to his Chain of Corruption ability. The damage is now increased from 150, 200, 250 plus 80% ability power to 150, 250, 350 plus 100% ability power, making it a more powerful tool for Varus to use in team fights. So get ready to unleash Varus' explosive power with these new changes. Up last, we have Warwick. Riot Games is making some changes to Warwick's abilities, specifically his Jaws of the Beast, Blood Hunt, and Primal Howl abilities. Recently, Warwick has been spending his time lurking in the jungle, waiting for his prey to come to him, rather than trying to hunt them down. So Riot is making his fangs a little sharper so that he can have an easier time facing his foes head on outside of the jungle. To achieve this, Riot is making some changes to his Jaws of the Beast ability. It now deals 50% extra damage to minions and restores 50% of cooldown when killing minions. The mana cost is also reduced from 50, 60, 70, 80 to 40, 45, 50, 55, making it easier for Warwick to spam his abilities. Riot is also making some changes to his Blood Hunt ability. The move speed is now reduced from 45, 50, 55, 60% to 40, 45, 50, 55%, and the attack speed is now reduced from 70, 80, 90, 100% to 60, 70, 80, 90%. This makes Warwick less reliant on his Blood Hunt ability to chase down his opponents and more effective in team fights. Lastly, Riot is making some changes to his Primal Howl ability. The second cast will no longer prematurely end the damage reduction effect, making Warwick more durable in team fights. So get ready to unleash Warwick's sharpened fangs with these new abilities. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the subscribe button, please hit the follow button, please hit the share button, hit the like button. Help your boy out. Peace.